going to celebrate the release of the Sunday Times Best Places to Live, sponsored by Halifax. We're going to take a closer look at some of the regional winners over the next few days and the sporting stars that hail from those regions. And up first in the Northwest regional winner, it is Stockport.
Nice viaduct.
Yeah. It was beautifully put, Andy. Philip Walter Foden was born there in the year 2000. 2000, man, that makes you feel old, doesn't it? And joining us now, man that watched that fledgling talent and took him out the under-10s into the under-14s. It is City coach Steve Eyere. He's coach at the time. Hi, Steve. Hello, Steve.
I can see him. He's speaking, but nothing's happening.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, lads. You okay? Great show.
We got you. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I remember this story. I was just refreshing my memory knowing you were coming on. I mean, Phil had been at the club at a very young age, but there was a game going on with you were the under-14s and the under-10s, and this kid was just mesmerising this 10-year-old. And you said, let's stick him in with the under-14s, and I suppose the rest is history.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been doing it for a few weeks previously. He'd obviously been in the club since he was about 6 years of age, and an amazing talent, and we loved him. And we got him in an extra evening, spoke to his dad and said, could he come in 3 nights instead of 2 and train with mixed age groups? And it was important not to divorce him from his childhood, so he still played with his team and his lads his own age. But I started to take the training sessions of all the age groups, and wherever I was taking the session, he would come with me. And obviously the first thing he had to do was avoid contact, which is what we're seeing now at the highest level. Then, of course, he had to learn how to take contact, which I think he does as brilliant as anybody also at the top level now. And this just built up over a training month or so, and he was growing with the experience. And I remember it being Middlesbrough at Carrington at the training ground at Manchester City. And his game, I think, was an under-9 game. And I think they were 10-0 up. I think he probably scored 4 or 5. And I was 1-1 against Jamie Pollock, who used to be the Manchester City captain, who I knew only ever so slightly. And at the last break of play, I asked the referee, would he mind if I got young Phil, or obviously at that point, just a young player from the other pitch, to come over and play in the big game. And at that point, the referee said, that's fine. There was no issue. You might just need to square it with the other coach. And I think he was rubbing his hands, Jamie Pollock. Because this young boy with the game evenly poised, even though it is development, we all wanted to win. And over Phil came trotting over, fearless, really, straight into the game. And it was the only game that was still going. All the other games had finished around the training ground, and I'll never forget it. There was like 3 deep of parents all the way around the pitch, watching this boy, obviously so small, against, certainly youths almost, really. Dribbling around everybody at 1-1, straight into the game, and eventually we won 2-1, and he scored a diving header to win us the game, very similar to the goal he scored in his first goal for Manchester City against Tottenham. So straight away we obviously knew about the talent, the personality. We knew he had great upbringing with the parents, but we obviously recognised then that he was, also had a great temperament too, and he was ready for big things.
Amazing, fantastic. Well, look, thank you, Steve. It's, give our best to your dad as well. Steve's dad, Fred, a cult,
very funny
cult hero at City, and he's been on with us a few times over the years. And we do recommend his book, Kicked into Touch. He's written a number of them. But how's he doing, Steve?
He's doing ever so well. He's at all the games, home and away, in the hospitality for the home games, and a bit of radio commentary for the away games. And he loves the club, and obviously it's a great time to be a Manchester City supporter, and he's been doing it. Now he's 80. He's been doing it for so long. It's obviously never been so good. So I'll send him your best, and thanks ever so much, lads.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much. There's Steve Eyere there, who was Phil Foden's coach. Kicked into Touch is the kind of story of a journeyman pro, very self-deprecating book that Fred wrote.
It'd be so exciting seeing a young player like that in the Raw, when they're that age, and you just know, they're going to go on.
Well, someone who gets the joy of travelling around Europe and the world watching him play now is chief football correspondent at the Times, Henry Winter. Hi, Henry.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Andy. Isn't it brilliant listening to someone like Steve, the work that people like him, coaches, do at grassroots level, developing players like Phil? It's fantastic.
And having to manage them so carefully, because you don't want to throw them in too early, so you don't want them getting hurt. There's such a fine balance, isn't there?
There is a fine balance, but the word that Steve used, which sort of struck me, and it strikes me every time I sort of watch Phil Foden play, is fearless. He'll take the ball, whatever the occasion, whether it's a Champions League final, whether it's a Manchester derby, he will take the ball under pressure. He'll take it on the half turn. He'll lay it off to a De Bruyne or a Haaland, a Bernardo Silva, all that talent he's got around him. So psychologically, physically, he's completely fearless. He has great belief in that touch and that left foot, increasingly in the right foot. He's obviously got the faith of Pep Guardiola. I can remember we sort of talked to him early on about whether he would send Foden off on loan, and he looked at us as if we were complete idiots, because he knew what a talent he had with Foden and how he was going to blossom playing alongside David Silva, learning from these professionals. And look at him now: 5 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 1 Champions League, and he's 23. It's remarkable.
Do you think he'll always stay at City? I mean, they're doing so, as long as they're a successful side, and that will probably continue.
Depends
but
if they're in League One after the 115 charges.
That may be the difference. But often a player like that, we tell Real Madrid, Barcelona, we don't really talk about like that with Phil Foden, do we, Henry?
Well, he's settled. He's got 2 kids. He's got a good family around him. He's obviously got people like Steve he's known for a long time. He doesn't strike me as the type who wants to be sort of marching up and down the Castellana or sort of heading up and down the Ramblers. So, he's the Stockport Iniesta, and let's hope he stays over here. Financially, I don't think anyone would necessarily be able to offer him much more than City. I take Andy's point about the 115 charges, and after what we've heard from Crookie, who looks like he's living in a treehouse, told us about the 4 points that Nottingham Forest have got. Maybe because he was doing a story on Forest, he immediately has to run into his local word. That's this sort of thematic thing. Now you guys are all over YouTube. So no, but the fact is that the Manchester City, that will be addressed later on this year. They deny all charges, but clearly there will be an issue if they are found guilty on any of the charges. But Foden doesn't strike me as someone who runs from a challenge on the pitch or runs from a challenge sort of with his club. So I would be surprised if he disappeared elsewhere.
On that basis,
they love him at City.
Yeah, absolutely. On that basis, I really don't want to see Crookie talking about Arsenal when he's in Vision.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.